Last year, as I was talking about prices, I thought this year, or in 2023, we would see a big pullback. I've never predicted a crash. I still don't think we're going to have a crash. This is nothing like 07, 08, okay? But I did feel like, and I still feel like it's going to happen, I believe we're going to come back to the trend line, which just because numbers over 100 years usually stay pretty consistent. What I think has delayed that trend line, I thought it was going to start happening in the latter part of last year, and it has been pushed into 2024 and could even be pushed into 2025. Believe it or not. I'm really uncertain as to when it's going to start because of the power of the lock-in effect. I've really been blown away, and that's just one of those things that's very difficult to predict, okay? The first reason why people didn't want to sell their houses is because of COVID, and they want people coming in their houses and killing them, right? And then they didn't want to sell their houses. They weren't listing their houses as much because they knew if they sold it, where were they going to move? Prices were going up too fast. There was just going to be a lateral move. And then now they won't list their houses because they refinanced at 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%. And if they sell, they've got to go to 6.5%, right? And so they're actually probably going to get less of a house for the same price they sell theirs for. So why in the world would you sell? Now, we all know houses are being listed on the market. Me and Mike and any of you guys that are doing rehabs, Tim and Jack and some of you guys doing rehabs, you're selling them because you don't live in them. You're kind of like a builder, right? So you're going to put them on the market. So there's some houses going on the market. There's some people that get transferred for jobs. There's some people that are just deciding to sell because they have to. But in general, if people don't have to sell like a builder, like a rehabber, then they're not, okay? And the question is that I really can't predict, I wish I could, is I don't know where the release point is, right? Where people go, okay, now I'll make the leap. I just don't know. And I'm just being honest with you. I just don't know where that is. If you're at 3.5% and you really need to move, because people always need to move. They need an extra bedroom. They had another kid. They get a job transfer. They got to be near the school they like. Their parents are sick and they got to move near. There's a million reasons why people move, right? But there's something at 3% that says I can't go to 6, right? But can I go from 3 to 5? Maybe. Can I go to 3 and a 4.5? Probably. Can I go to 3 to 4? Definitely, right? And so there's a place where this lock-in effect is going to stop and people are going to go, okay, now I can make the leap. The question is, I just don't know exactly where it's going to be. And I believe it's probably going to be in the latter part of this year, even the beginning part of 2025. I still think we're going to have pretty low inventory, which is going to continue to allow prices to stay up until finally that breaks loose. Okay? And so which is going to rise faster, supply or demand? My belief is once we finally get to the point, I understand that when rates drop, it's also a benefit to buyers. I understand that. It also makes homes more affordable, which creates more demand. My personal belief is that there's way more waiting, anticipation, selling demand than there is buying demand. And I believe you're going to see a tilt where inventory will finally break. It's been so constrained for so long. Inventory will finally outpace demand, and that will put some downward pressure on prices, which will bring us back to the trend line.